All right. All right. So welcome everyone to the MPO meeting today. I'll read the accessibility statement and non-discrimination statement. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. If you would like this accommodation, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. And the Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to the Federal Title VI Non-Discrimination Protections and the State Non-Discrimination Protections is included on this meeting's agenda and is also available on the Old Colony Planning Council website at https://oldcolonyplanning.org/. You can also contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Thank you. With that, Charlie, you want to do the roll call?
Yes. So representing Secretary and CEO Monica Tibbetts-Nutt.
Yes, Steve Wolfel here, representing Acting Secretary and CEO of MassDOT, Monica Tibbetts-Nutt.
Thank you. So representing Jonathan Gulliver from MassDOT, please identify yourself.
Rich Bilski from District 5, representing Jonathan Gulliver.
Great, thank you. And I believe we have Kamaya Parkin representing Mayor Sullivan from Brockton.
Yep, President Kamaya Parkin representing Mayor Sullivan. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Lee Hartman, do we have you on the line? Representing Richard Quintal, Plymouth? Not yet. Dan Salvucci, Vice Chair, Board of Selectmen at Whitman.
Present.
Thank you. Glenn Geiler representing Mike Lambert, Brockton Area Transit.
Present.
And then Mary Waldron representing Council President Rebecca Coletta, OCPC.
Good morning, present.
Great, thank you. Chair, we do have a quorum present. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Charlie. We'll move on to agenda item 2, which is public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the MPO today? All right, seeing none, we'll move to agenda item 3, which is consideration for endorsement of the meeting minutes from September 19th, 2023. Can I get a motion, a second, to approve the minutes?
I'll motion Dan Salvucci Whitman.
Second.
Good, good.
All right, any changes, comments on the minutes? All right, seeing none, Charlie, you want to read the roll, please?
Sorry, I was on mute. Steve Wolfel,
Yes.
Richard Bilski,
Abstain.
Kamaya Parkin,
Yes.
Lee Hartman, Denise Reyes, Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Glenn Geiler,
Yes.
Mayor Waldron.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, let's move on to agenda item 4, which is the report from the Brockton Area Transit Authority. Glenn, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good updates today from BAT. We are setting record ridership, rebounding from the pandemic on our fixed route. Although we're monitoring our Ashmont ridership, which is traditionally our busiest route, due to the red line busing that's going on for the next several weeks. We're seeing good ridership on our pilot microtransit service in the town of Rockland. We recently launched, thanks to Kelly, some great Facebook advertising for that service. We recently had our advisory board meeting. Good results from that meeting. They approved that we are going to double our service on Saturdays. For the first time ever, we're going to be implementing Sunday morning service. And those are both going to happen on a pilot basis. We also, our board also approved our TAM plan, which Kelly Forrester, our manager of transit operations, will present later in today's agenda. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Glenn? Seeing none, thank you, Glenn. We'll move on to agenda item 5, which is an update from the Greater Attleboro Taunton Regional Transit Authority. I don't see any. Is anyone here from GATRA, either Stacy or Mary Ellen? All right, I don't see him. So we will move on to agenda item 6, which is an update from D5. Barbara, you doing this?
I am, thank you.
I take it
Good
away.
morning, everybody. Barbara Chance from District 5. Project updates for you. Stoughton, the 138 Phase 1, bid opening is scheduled for November 7th. Stoughton, Canton, Tosca, and Central Street, bids were open on October 3rd, but have not been awarded yet. Brockton, Center Street, and Plymouth Street. The ICE Stage 1 review has been complete. Moving on to utility meeting and then DPH. Let's see, Brockton, Carey Street and Lyman, PSCD review has been completed for that, and moving towards, I guess, the 6/29/2024 advertising date. Plimpton, the Winnetoxet over the Winnetoxet River. We are still awaiting the 75%. Actually, they're just due this week, so we're waiting the 75% design submission for that one. Stoughton, 138, Phase 2. Let's see, scope and fee was done for that. This is the one that was formerly part of the larger project, and I guess it's up to 100% already, and I guess we're looking to program this one for 2024. Brockton, Lyman, Grove, Summer, the replacement of the Grove Street Bridge. Let's see, the review, ICE Stage 1 review has been completed, and the 75% are anticipated for March of 24. Let's see. Oh, there was a new 25% design submission for that one also. That's what had been completed. My apologies. And 75% are anticipated in March of 24. Easton, the Route 138 improvements at Elm Street. Let's see, 100% was completed, and we anticipate the PSNEs in December of this year. Abington, this is Hancock and Chestnut. It's currently at 25s. We're still waiting on the 75% designed for this project, and we need a new schedule for this one also. Kingston, Duxbury, this is Route 3 ramps northbound and southbound at Route 3A, which is Tremont Street. Let's see, we've had the scoping meeting, and we have reviewed the pre-25% concept plans for this one. In Avon, Route 28, Spring Street and Harrison Boulevard, currently is less than 25% complete, but we are waiting on the 25% design submission for this project. In Brockton, Abington, the ped and bicycle improvements on 123 is currently at 25%, and there's a revised 25% that we anticipate in May of 24. Hanson, Route 14 from the Pembroke Town line to Indian Head Street. Still waiting for the SU to be scheduled for this project. Abington intersection improvements. Let's see, this is 139 Chestnut and Old Randolph Street. ICE review has been completed, and we are waiting for 25s, which we anticipate in February of 24. Hancock Street, 139 at Main Center and Silver. ICE Stage View 1 has revision 1 has been completed, and we anticipate the 25s in April of 24. This is Brockton, 123 at Pearl Street is currently less than 25%. We've had the kickoff meeting, and we anticipate the 25s in May of 24. And last one for project updates is Abington, Route 18 and 123. Less than 25% complete, but ICE Stage 1 has been reviewed, and the Blue Beam review of the scoping checklist came in October, early October, and is currently under review. I also have just 2 construction updates, and let's see, the first one is the Stoughton Safe Routes to School. Currently, this project, they're working on grades where there's, I guess, puddling that's occurring for part that's already been done, and we're working with the town and the school on the type and the color of the masonry wall, and working with the railroad on the limits of their work. And the other one is Pembroke, Route 36, Center Street. Let's see, they started the regular meetings every 2 weeks, and I believe they've started some paving earlier this month, and the sidewalks and the driveways are ongoing for that project. And those are my updates. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Barbara? All right, thank you, Barbara. We'll move on to agenda item 7, which is consideration of a tip amendment. And I will turn it over to Bill. Take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have, the 24 to 28, tip is just rolled out. It's a brand new federal fiscal year, and as such, we have a few things to amend already in this tip. So I'll run through what those amendments are and ask for a vote to release it. So as you can see on the screen, the first one is Brockton Area Transit, purchase of miscellaneous power and equipment. This was a project that was originally programmed in 2023. We had amended the 23 to 27 tip to move this project out of 2023 into 2024. So as such, we need to amend this 24 to 28 tip to add that project in. That's for $400,000. Also for Brockton Area Transit, congratulations to Mike and Glenn and their team. They received a Federal Transit Administration grants for a no or low emission vehicle program, and that is for that is almost $11 million. So that's a great project for that. That's going to be used to for the purchase of electric buses and also charging equipment. So congratulations again. Then we have a couple of other great grant awards in the region. So the first one you can see on the screen, the town of Plymouth, they received a grant through the town through the National Culvert Program, and that is for the Town Brook Stream Restoration Deep Water Culvert Placement. So that is for $2 million. And then the city of Brockton received a grant for nearly $8 million for downtown infrastructure improvement program. So this is for the traffic flow improvements and technology improvements in the downtown. And again, congratulations to the city of Brockton and their Mayor Sullivan and his team on applying for and getting awarded this grant. So these are very exciting grant awards. A lot of if you quickly add up the dollar amounts, it's a lot of money coming to into the region. So congrats to all. So that's the proposed tip amendment that we're asking the MPO today to release to a 21-day public review and comment period.
All right. Any questions for Bill? Can I get a motion and a second to send this out for public comment?
I'll make that motion, Dan, for Whitman.
Second, Mary Waldron.
All right. Last chance for any questions for Bill. All right. Seeing none. Charlie, you want to read the roll, please?
Steve Wolfle,
Yes.
Richard Bilski,
Yes.
Kamaya Parkin,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Glenn Geiler,
Yes,
Mary Waldron.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bill.
Thank
We'll
you.
now move on to agenda item 8, which is potential approval of the performance-based planning and TAMP for the Brockton Area Transit Authority for fiscal year 2024. Glenn, are you taking the lead on this, or you mentioned Kelly is going to be involved? So I don't know who's starting. So whoever is, take it
thank
away.
you. Yeah, Kelly Forrester will present on BAT's behalf. Thanks,
Right.
Kelly.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. So back in 2016, FTA passed a final rule for transit asset management. And every year since then, I've been able to come to you fine folks and present our performance measures for our assets and where we land. So what we do every year is we take a snapshot of what our fleet will look like at the end of the year. So this time it'll be for June 30th, 2024. And we set a goal for any vehicles that will be beyond their useful life benchmark, which is a very specific age that FTA has set on there, and just based on age to see. So I do have, I'm not sure if you guys have the targets.
Yeah, it's actually in the presentation. Sean, if you could advance a couple of slides, keep going. Keep going.
Easier
There you
to
go.
do. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
So we break them out just based on rolling stock, equipment, and then our facilities. So in rolling stock, we have our buses, our cutaway buses, which are the vehicles we have at Bridgewater State University, and our vans, which is our Dial-A-Bat fleet. So for this year, we are expecting 11% of our buses to be beyond their useful life of 14 years. This is a little higher than in the past, and this is mostly due to we are expecting our first round of electric buses this year. So we're building in a little extra time for taking vehicles off the road just to be getting those on the road. So those are due around April, and we just are thinking that we'll be keeping a few buses that are probably just going to hit 14 years old a little longer, a few more months or maybe a year. So it's only 5 vehicles, but it still bumps our percentage up to 11%. The cutaway buses, we have 4 of those in service at Bridgewater. One of them is beyond its useful life of 10 years, but it is still in good working order. So we expect to continue to see a 25% target on that. And for our vans, the vans have a replacement schedule of 7 years, but FTA has put their useful life at 8 years. So we see a lot of them that will hit 8 years, depending on the round, but they're still in very good condition. They still have pretty low mileage. So we keep them on a little longer just because they are very useful and working well. So we're going to see a couple more of those in service that are going to be around 8 or 9 years. We expect that to be around 21%. As of June 30th. For our equipment, we have we have a total of 10 service vehicles. We expect 5 of those to be hitting their useful life of 8 years, but again, very good condition, very low mileage. So for automobiles, we're setting a 60% target, and for trucks, we're setting a 40% target. And then for our facilities, all of our facilities are in great shape. We expect none of them to be rated under a 3 on the term scale, which is just a scale that FTA has come up with just to state a state of good repair and making sure that these facilities are being maintained. So we expect 0% of our facilities to be rated lower than a 3 on the term scale. That is all I have. Is there any questions?
Yeah, well, that's
All right. Any questions for Kelly? So we're calling for a vote to approve this. So can I get a motion and a second to approve?
I'll motion Dan Salvucci Whitman.
Mary Waldron, second.
All right. Any last chance? Any questions? All right, Charlie, you want to read the roll?
Steve Wolfle,
Yes.
Kamaya Parkin,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Glenn Geiler,
Yes,
Mary Waldron.
Yes.
Chair, motion carries. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. We are now going to move to agenda item 9, which is an update from federal officials on the Old Colony certification review. So I believe, Joshua, you taking the lead? I don't believe Cassie's here, correct?
Hey, Steve. Yeah, that's correct.
All right, take it away, Joshua.
Hey, everybody. Joshua Barber here with Federal Highway Administration. I'm joined by Eric Papetti from the Federal Transit Administration, and we're just here to give you all a brief overview of our 2023 federal certification for the Old Colony MPO. Next slide, please. So just a brief review. The purpose of a certification review is to ensure the metropolitan planning process is being carried out in accordance with all the applicable provisions of federal law. So it's not just a review of the MPO, but rather a review of the entire planning process as carried out by all the agencies responsible for planning in the region. So it's the state, the MPO, transit agency, kind of that 3C continuing comprehensive coordinated process. And the certification review is really a very valuable opportunity for us all to kind of help enhance the planning process and improve the quality of transportation investment decisions being made in the region. Federal Highway and Federal Transit are required to jointly certify the metropolitan planning process in a transportation management area that is an area with over 200,000 people, at least every 4 years. Next slide, please. So in general, a certification review reviews and builds on and reflects on our ongoing oversight activities. We do routine reviews of fundamental planning documents and activities like the UPWP and subsequent approvals, the STIP, the Long Range Transportation Plan, other studies that are ongoing, civil rights, equity, that kind of stuff. We usually start out with a desk review of planning products that staff provides, and then kind of base our on-site visit questions and process on that. We also facilitate public involvement for this process. We did our on-site review with the Old Colony staff, and thank you to Charles and Mary and everyone who helped facilitate that. You all were amazing hosts. And thank you everyone for attending as well, BAT, MassDOT, thank you. We did our on-site review on July 11th, and the public comment session was held at the MPO meeting in July as well. And ultimately, it culminates in a report that summarizes our findings, offers recommendations, corrective actions, commendations, which we issued a few days ago, actually, and apologies for the delay. So once again, really just focusing on federal law and regs, challenges, success, the cooperative relationship between the MPO, the state, the jurisdictions, transit operators, as part of the broad metropolitan planning process. Next slide, please. So there's a few possible outcomes to a certification review. FTA and Federal Highway are required to either fully certify the metropolitan planning process that it meets 23 USC, 49 USC, other associated federal laws, regulations. We could do that. We could conditionally certify the MPO. That is like, you all are doing a great job pending the corrective these corrective actions. And then, of course, worst case, the withholding of certification and funding. Anyway, all that to say, you all were fully certified, meet all the requirements, no corrective actions, which is really wonderful. We love to see. Next slide, please. So Eric and I will briefly go over our findings from the review. Again, there are no corrective actions. We had one commendation on public outreach and involvement. We really recognized your all's efforts in just continuously evaluating the effectiveness of your public involvement outreach strategies, trying different approaches, really looking towards innovation, trying to maximize your impact, in your community. So really great job there. Next slide. So some recommendations that we issued, and these are not, again, corrective actions. There's no action plan required, but just stuff for you all to kind of consider and look at, and maybe look towards over the next 4 years until the next certification review as areas of possible improvement. One big thing was, just completing a regular review and reaffirmation of the memorandum of understanding between the MPO and the local jurisdictions and the state every 3 years as required in the current memorandum of understanding, or just otherwise adhering to any new review cycle policy that you all may develop as part of a new MOU. And then on the MPO organizational structure, just trying to consider more opportunities to include underrepresented groups in your JTC and your policy board, as well as any other subcommittees, to really help broaden participation in the planning process from groups that have been historically marginalized and underrepresented. Next slide. For the Transportation Improvement Program and project selection, really just considering and revisiting your transportation evaluation criteria. That's the criteria that prioritizes transportation projects for federal money. just looking towards more of a transparent, maybe even a data-driven process, just trying to help the public understand, how projects are evaluated, and ensuring it's as transparent and consistent as possible. Let's see, next slide, please. The other area is complete streets. Or actually, no, I think I'm handing over to Eric at this point. I apologize, Eric. If you're on.
I am here. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I on screen?
Yes, you're on video. Yes.
All right, thanks. Sorry, this is our first day in the new office here. So thank you for that, Josh. Just to carry on with that, with regards to complete streets, our complete streets, of course, we often think of as referring as dealing with things like bikes and peds and transit, but freight is a part of that as well. So we did want to have a recommendation that the MPO should be able to have freight-focused projects on the tip that might be eligible for the MHFP. So our recommendation is that the MPO would coordinate with MassDOT and freight stakeholders to program projects that would address the region's needs. Next slide. We also have some recommendations around civil rights. The MPO should consider updating the list of contracts from groups that have been identified in the Title VI Plan Annual Report to represent the interests of EJ and low English proficiency communities. We'd also recommend exploring other methods that would strengthen relationships with community-based organizations, enabling them to serve as representatives of EJ populations, and also consider opportunities to include members of the policy board, the JTC, and other task groups and subcommittees that are reflective of the demographics of the region. Next slide. For performance-based planning and programming, the MPO should identify methods to make sure that it is meeting its intent to update its regional transit asset management and safety targets once that has adopted new targets. Thank you for that presentation earlier. And the MPO should work to incorporate the data that is used for setting those targets into its own planning processes. So the federal team wants to commend the MPO for setting objectives and measures for region-specific goals that are outside federal requirements. That the MPO should strive to document consistent performance metrics across its planning documents from year to year, so that you all can better assess progress in meeting your goals. Next. So next steps here are you're certified, and we will work with you all on implementation of an action plan. And I believe that is all we have for our presentation. Are there any questions for Josh or I?
All right, anyone have any questions for either Josh or Eric? All right, I don't see any. Well, I want to thank you both and thank Cassie for all your support, and we look forward to both MassDOT and the staff working with you on the action plan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Josh.
And if I could, I apologize, Stephen,
Sure,
but
go ahead, Mary. Yeah, go ahead.
I just truly really wanted to, again, as you just said with Cassie and Joshua and all involved, it was, I had first participated in this before I became into the organization as its executive director, and being fully immersed into this, not only an experience, but also just the appreciation of the honest conversation, and just in terms of what was discussed in terms of reaching out to our communities and engaging. And it's always, there's always room for improvement, but just also to the transportation staff and all of our staff who are involved, as well as our delegates and partners. It's again an opportunity for us to continue to be public servants in a way that we always need to be, with our feet on the ground and listening, and look forward to another 4 years.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you both again. Thank you, Cassie. All right, let's move on to the next agenda item, Charlie, which is, I believe, other business. So take it away, Charlie.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we have a couple informational items for you and also a schedule for the next couple of meetings. So our first item is a reminder that next month, opening on November 28th, the MassDOT Community Transit Grant Program, the vehicle application schedule and process will open soon. The good news here is while we're waiting for it to officially open, you can actually log on to the respective website and review the application materials and the vehicle guide so you can do some advanced planning. Next slide. It's a reminder that the Shared Streets and Spaces Grant Program is currently open and accepting applications. I know several communities in the region over the years have been awarded projects for this, and note that applications are due October 31st. Next slide. It's another reminder that USDOT has their Thriving Communities Grant Application Program open. And there are two different application windows, one for capacity builders, and that closes on November 28th, and the other is for communities, and that closes on November 15th. Next slide. And here's an informational item. Walk Massachusetts is having a competition called Beat the Base State, and it's an idea here where you, as an individual or in teams, would actually walk during the month of November, at least 900 miles in 30 days, and proceeds will go to projects and whatnot. OCPC is looking to form a team and compete in this process. And there's a QR code if you wanted to scan and find out some more information. Next slide. And then here's some dates for the MPO to consider. As you know, the regular meetings of the MPO are held the third Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. in a virtual environment. So upcoming meetings would be, please save the date for November 21st and December 19th. I do note that following Bill's presentation, the MPO does have the tip out on the streets, if you will, for a public review and comment period. So this will be a needed action item in November. So, and that's what we have. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Charlie? And as Charlie said, please try to make the November 21st meeting. We do have the tip amendment out, so we need a quorum. So just try to make sure you can schedule and be there. I would think, Charlie, it's probably a pretty short agenda, so we can, but please try to make that. All right, I think our next agenda item is to adjourn, correct, Charlie?
Yes, next slide, please. Yep.
All right, can I get a motion second to adjourn, please?
I'll motion Dan from Whitman.
Is there a second?
Second, Mary Waldron.
All right, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 Hi.
All right, thank you, everybody. I know it was a quick meeting. We had a lot of stuff done. Everyone have a good Halloween, and we'll see you in November. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.